In this we are going to see the tokens that are used in the C language. The tokens are nothing but the words formed from the character set are the building blocks of C language and are sometimes known as the tokens. These tokens represent the individual entity of the language. The compiler breaks the program into the smaller possible units and proceeds to the various stages of the compilation, which is called as token. There are different types of tokens that are used in the C language: identifier, keyword, constant, operator, string. First one, the identifier. The identifier is nothing but a string of alphanumeric characters that begins with the alphanumeric or underscore character that are used to identify name various programming elements such as variable, function names, array names, tags, and members of the structure. The underscore character is considered as the letter in identifier and is usually used in the middle of the identifier. Now, they are some of the rules that are to be followed when constructing the identifiers. The first rule is that the first character in an identifier must be an alphabet, an underscore, or followed by alphabets or digits. No commas or blank space are allowed with an identifier. No special character other than the underscore should represent the identifier. The name used to represent an identifier should not be a keyword. Identifiers are the case sensitive. Identifiers can be of any length, but first 31 characters are recognized. Now the example of identifier is int amount, double total balance. In this example, amount and total balance are the identifiers. Now the next is the keywords. Actually there are 32 keywords in the C language. A keyword is nothing but the reserved word. You can use it as the variable name or constant name. C is case sensitive. It means they should be used as it is that are written in the lower case. Now next, the variables are nothing but the quantity which may vary during the program execution. A variable is the name of the memory location. It is used to store data. Its value can be changed and can be reused many times. This memory location can be integer, real, single character, or a string constant. Now the how to declare it is type variable. List is the syntax for variable declaration. The examples are int a1, a2, a3, char c1, c2, c3 and float x1, x2, x3. Now the declaration of the variable. How to declare the variable? A data item must be assigned to a variable at some point in the program. The information represented by the variable can change during the execution of the program. All variables used in the program must be declared before all executive statements that are at the start of the function. Declaration of the variables begins with the type followed by one or more variables. The declaration assigns the variable to the specific data type and then allocate memory to the variable. You can see in the example int a1, a2 and a3, char c1, c2 and c3, float x1, x2 and x3. In the first declaration, a1, a2, a3 are the variables which are declared as the integer type, and the second one c1, c2, c3 are the variables that are declared as the character type, and in the next one x1, x2, x3 are the variables that are declared as the float type. Now whenever if we assign some value to the variable, then it is nothing but called as the initialization of the variables. So this can be done by using, now in the example, int a is equal to 6, b is equal to 8, char c1 is equal to Kumar, float x1 is equal to some value. When we assigned it to the variable, then it is called as the initialization of the variable. Next, the constants are classified into the numeric constants, character constant. The numeric constants are then further classified into the real constant, integer constant. Character constants are further classified into single character and the string constant. The constants are nothing but the tokens used in the C language to C representing fixed number or character values that does not change even during the execution of the program. Now the integer constant, it requires a sequence of digit without a decimal point. C language deals with the whole numbers as well as the integer. Now the integer constant preceded by the unary minus may be considered to represent a negative constant. Integer constants can be classified into the three ways: decimal integer constant, octal integer constant and the hexadecimal integer constant. The example of the integer constant is 35. which can be represented as 35 in the decimal constant, 043 represented as the octal constant, and 0x23 represented as the hexadecimal constant. The real constants consist of they are also called as the floating point constants, which are classified into the two types, fractional and the exponential form. Now the character constants, a single character constant or the character constant contains a single character enclosed with a pair of single quotes. The single character constant may be either alphabet or a single character enclosed in the single quotes. The length of the single character constant is only the 1. The examples of the single character constant are shown below. The string constant, a character string, a string constant literally consists of a sequence of characters enclosed with the double quotes. The string constant may consist of any combination of digit letters except sequences and the spaces. The end of the string is marked with the single character called as the null character. It occupies 2 bytes of size in their storage capacity. The example are being shown in the figure. Now there are some of the rules that are used for constructing the string constant. A string constant may be a single alphabet or a digit or a special character. Even string constant ends with a null character which is automatically assigned.